Have you always thought it would be nice to work in a job that helps conserve wildlife, but you don't actually know what opportunities are out there? Well, in this video series, I'm going to be talking about 19 jobs that you can do in this field. While I'm specifically going to be talking about jobs you can do based in the UK, a lot of these jobs are actually applicable globally. So wherever you are in the world, I hope you can get something valuable from this video. I've got experience working in a range of wildlife conservation positions, from fully hands-on with animals to completely support roles. All of the clips within this video are from some of my experiences and hopefully will help show some of the variety of work that's out there. In my experience, there's always a job out there to suit somebody, even if it's not what you initially envisioned. This is the last of 3 videos, and in this video we're going to be looking at 8 jobs, which while they aren't directly helping conservation, they are necessary for conservation projects to be successful. If you've got a real passion for conservation, but either can't or don't want to pursue the other routes that I've talked about in my other videos, then maybe one of these jobs is for you. The first job is a communications specialist. Communications officers are the link between conservation projects and members of the public. A communications officer uses storytelling through media to raise awareness of conservation. This can be done through TV adverts, poster campaigns, or posts on social media. All the work in the world by a conservation team means nothing if the local community isn't on board. A communications officer does a great job of getting local communities on board. They also really help in persuading people that donating to conservation projects is a really good use of their money. Think back to before the campaigns to save the bees in the UK. How quickly did public opinion change from hating bees to making saving them a priority? Sure, conservation teams have done important work saving bee species here, but it's the public communications that convinced people to start things like wildflower gardens on their own property. There are all sorts of different ways that you can get this sort of job in conservation. One of the best things that you can work on is building up professional experience, creating social media posts for all sorts of different companies, monitoring the success of media campaigns for these companies, and also demonstrating that you can come up with really creative ways to present ideas. The second job is to be a membership recruiter. Many conservation organisations are registered as charities, and so they rely on members of the public to donate their money in order to carry out further activities. One form that this money can come in is through memberships, which is where people sign up to become a member and get access to perks. Speaking of memberships, why don't you sign up and become a member of my Patreon? You'll be able to keep supporting this channel so that I can carry on making videos, and you'll get access to all sorts of perks. Just check the link that I've left below the video. As a membership recruiter, your job will be getting people to sign up as members. This role involves travelling around your local area and setting up stalls to help advertise your company. It involves talking to people all day and letting them know about all the great conservation work that your company does, as well as all the benefits of the memberships, and convincing them that the perks are worth signing up for. Membership recruiter applicants need to demonstrate their passion for the organisation and experience working with the general public. You don't often need formal qualifications for this sort of role, but it can give you a competitive edge to have a driving licence. This is so that the company that's hiring knows that you're going to be able to actually travel to all of the places you need to set up the stalls. The third job is a funding and partnerships officer. This job role is all about talking with various partners of conservation organisations to secure funding. You'll be getting funding through various grants, donations and legacies, as well as a range of other sources. It's not cheap to work with wildlife. There's direct costs of feeding and veterinary care, research equipment costs, salaries that need to be paid, and all sorts of additional activities that take money. By securing these larger monetary contracts, a funding and partnerships officer helps many conservations keep going in the longer term. This role really needs someone who is great at making strong personal connections with people and persuading them of the benefits that a conservation organisation can bring. If you've got experience in your past of securing funding for a range of different companies, then it's much more likely you'll be able to land a job like this. Closely working with these officers is the fourth job, a financial specialist. A financial specialist works closely with conservation teams to make sure that everything is right within financial contracts, and also to ensure that the project is spending correctly. Hired consultants, lab materials, camera traps, sampling quadrats, batteries, equipment repairs, illegal activity monitoring, campaigning. The costs of a conservation project can very quickly add up. Having an expert in finances on the team is vital to avoid overspending. You normally need a background in something like economics or accounting to be able to get one of these jobs, but it is possible to land one if you're able to demonstrate that you've got enough experience with complex financial situations in the past. The fifth job is more of a group of jobs that keep a conservation organisation running. This includes role in things like HR, payroll and admin. These positions are involved in recruiting employees, processing employee pay, disciplinary actions, updating internal policies, maintaining employee records, sorting out paperwork, and handling queries. You can usually secure one of these jobs with any kind of degree because it's really the transferable skills that degrees teach that employers will be looking for. However, if you have a degree in something like HR, admin, business, or psychology, then that's really going to increase your chances of landing one of these roles. If you don't have a degree, it's not a door closed for you because you can take a sales or marketing positions route and get in that way. The sixth job is a wildlife educator. Wildlife educators capture people's imagination. They reach out to the general public and engage them in a conversation or activities related to wildlife conservation. This can involve things like setting up stalls to talk to passers-by, or even going into classrooms to talk to school kids. It can even involve getting out and about. Wildlife educators often host forest walks where they teach people about nature while they're able to actually see it. By teaching the public in an interactive way all about the important services nature brings, a wildlife educator is able to inspire people. Someone who doesn't care about invertebrates could become passionate about protecting them after learning about their importance as our forest's cleanup crew. Someone who thought paying for microplastics research was a waste of money could start their own fundraising campaign after they learn the impacts microplastics have on our food chain. Wildlife educators are often a child's first introduction to the natural world and can play a huge role in inspiring future conservationists. There are different routes into this job, but there's most commonly two options, which are either to come in with a wildlife knowledge background and pick up the teaching skills as you go, or to come in from a teaching background and pick up the wildlife knowledge as you go. The seventh job is a wildlife photographer. Photographers and filmmakers play an important role in conservation. Their photos and footage give people an insight into natural interactions that they might never have had the chance to see in person. Being able to see these images helps people understand how exciting nature can be. After all, would it be better for me to tell you that cheetahs are fascinating, or to show you footage and photos of them using their tails as rudders to make perfect turns? Wildlife photographers don't only give people a glimpse into nature, but also a glimpse into conservation work. If you're curious about what people get up to out in the field, then a wildlife photographer can help show you the work that goes into protecting nature. Along with raising awareness, photographs can be made use of by conservation companies. They can help them in advertising campaigns, draw the eye to project news, and also spread awareness about conservation on social media. This is a good option if you want to go the self-employed route, because all you really need to get started is a camera and a good eye for a photo. Job number 8 is the last one in this video, and it's becoming a TV presenter. This job is another role that's all about educating and inspiring people. Whether it's the next generation of conservation workers, a potential funder, or a future wildlife gardener, there's always someone watching who's worth inspiring. From encouraging someone to go on global adventures seeking out exotic wildlife, to reminding them to take a look at the insects on the ground as they go on their next dog walk. TV presenters are the face of wildlife documentaries, and so can use their position to connect with people and in turn connect people with nature. There's no one path to becoming a TV presenter for wildlife documentaries. Some people will join the TV industry in something else and then work their way up to becoming a presenter. Others will become an expert in their field and then get invited to talk on TV as a result of that. And others still will make connections through a related industry like acting or modelling and then transition after that. However, throughout all of these different positions, the most important thing to work on is your confidence in speaking in front of groups of people and also speaking to camera if this is something you want to do in the future. With many of the jobs I've talked about, you have the option to specialise even further. You don't just have to work in conservation as a whole. For example, you could be fascinated by the interaction between mammals, like me, and try to take jobs with that as a focus. Maybe marine life or birds are your preferred species to work with. Or perhaps it isn't the conservation of animals that interests you, but plants and landscapes. Maybe it's just one aspect of conservation, like nature-based solutions, that you want to work towards. Wildlife conservation is a really competitive industry, and a lot of people have to give up on their dream before they can ever make it happen. But hopefully this video has helped show you the wide variety of jobs that are available out there, and given you some hope that if you want to make this your career, there's a way that you can make it happen. Not only that, but a lot of these jobs also have a load of tiers of different experience levels that are required, so you can start out on the very bottom rung and work your way up to your dream position. If you're interested in any sort of video on a specific conservation related job and all the skills that you need to be able to get into that and the path you need to take, then let me know and I can work on that video. Subscribe to Ferroforest to keep learning about UK nature.